Welcome into the Crypto Bunker podcast. I want to make the case today that what if this was the top? I also want to talk about, Solana, Ethereum, the sentiment that we're seeing. We're looking at some of the relative strength index here for Solana, for Ethereum, for Bitcoin. And we can look at some of those things and we can say, what if this was the top? And what if we actually break the 4-year cycle in a good way by having like an 8-month correction from here till, September or something. And then we go, up only for the next 2 or 3 years or something like that. I'm not, I just wouldn't be surprised, honestly, at this point, because what we've seen is we've seen top signals. Um, Usually when you have a top, you do have like a slightly higher high. Everyone FOMOs in, and putting in candles like this, it really is concerning. You also have an RSI, right? When you have a higher high on the charts and you have a lower high on the RSI, you're dealing with potential problems, right? So you have it goes up there and it goes down here, right? So that's bearish divergence. We also have bearish divergence on Bitcoin. So um, even going all the way back to October 2023, we have some bearish divergence on the daily RSI. We can even look on a weekly time frame, okay? And what we have again is a bearish RSI. It's similar to, I guess you could say, we could say once per cycle, we get into this territory up here where we're, very overbought, you could say, on the RSI. And then we come down and make a lower RSI on the weekly, and we have a higher high on the weekly here. Okay. So it's the same thing as that, right? So what I will say is we can also look at um, this compared to this. I guess if you compare it on the RSI, you could say, okay, is this similar to basically is this similar to this top here? And what I could say is that I think it might be. I actually think it's more clear on the daily time frame to look at this one. And again, this is just an exercise. I'm not saying that I'm selling everything, but if you're all in crypto and you've made, say you've been all in like me since, September of 2023 or something, or October 2023, you've made, you have to think about, how much you probably made from here, right? We're talking about, 300% gain, basically, right? So, I mean, these are not normal um, gains here that we're talking about. And obviously, this will have to play out, and it's not perfect. But we did have, a slightly higher high, with Bitcoin there. Just in the past couple of days, we had a slightly higher high. And I have a weird suspicion that the reason we haven't seen a strategic Bitcoin reserve is potentially because Trump maybe with his meme coin, is not happy, right, with crypto. Maybe he's, feeling like, oh, you guys told me this was legit. Why are people telling me this is a total scam? Why are people reaching out to me and saying, I've lost, 50% of my money in only like a few days. And I think that because of the Trump meme coin, he feels that if he does the strategic Bitcoin reserve now, it's just going to be even worse. And people will just say, oh, you're just enriching yourself. And, um, oh, this is like you're just scamming the public and you're putting the Americans' money into like a crypto coin, like what's going on here? So there are just some concerns that I have around some of these things. I mean, the Trump coin though, I mean, if I do look at it, objectively, I guess, you could say that maybe it is bottoming out here. But again, who knows with meme coins? I don't trade meme coins. I don't recommend trading meme coins. So even on the hourly, I mean, look at some of the candles we're putting in. I mean, this is probably, I will say, actually, I will say this. This is the most volatile I have ever seen Bitcoin. Okay. We're talking about this whole range here. Most volatile I've ever seen on a chart. I look at the charts pretty often, I would say, almost every day. And, I've been doing it for 5 years almost. And it's crazy because it went from 102 and then immediately down to 89 and then almost immediately back up to like an all-time high. And now we're at this all-time high range and look at this volatility in here. I mean, what is that? And you could also say like, is this some sort of head and shoulders? I don't know, but it sort of looks like that to me. It's a very strange pattern. I've never really seen anything quite like this. I think it's and the target would put us back to 92 or so. I follow the Hedgeye risk range. If you guys didn't know, I can show you the tracker here, which has been really just a great product. I recommend it highly for if you're a trader or if you just want to know what's going on. So yeah, Bitcoin's bullish, buy trade at 98. If it breaks, if it breaks through 98, you sell on a trade basis. But the trend is a little bit lower than that, I think. So it's not, they don't show that. ETH is now bearish. It keeps going back and forth between bearish and bullish. It's very volatile, and I would also say ETH is in such a tight range right now. So it's obvious that whatever ETH does, I think the market will sort of do because everything is kind of like on the edge of its seat right now with Ethereum. And we can look at that as well right now. Because I think with ETH, it's squeezing, it's a squeeze. And it's just getting tighter and tighter, right? You could probably even look at like if we look at the Bollinger Bands on this, I'm guessing that it's going to be pretty tight. We can look at it on like a 4 hourly maybe. So it just continues to tighten, which means that a volatile move is coming. So we assume though, right, that this will be a bullish move because Trump, he hasn't come out with any executive orders for crypto. And so that's really why the volatility is happening is that, people are expecting big things. They're expecting a strategic Bitcoin reserve. They're expecting some new, legislation potentially for crypto, maybe some SEC guidelines, like some executive orders that are going to get rid of SAB, the thing that was basically like the anti-crypto army stuff. Like, where is all that? And I think that the issue, honestly, is the Trump meme coin. In a way, again, it sort of trapped Trump a little bit because now, and then the Melania coin too. It sort of trapped him in a way because again, it's a little scammy. I think he's embarrassed by it, essentially, is what I'm thinking. Um, and the Bitcoin, you know, like Bollinger Bands, they're not, squeezing as much as, um, I don't know, as maybe they could be. Um, but let's look at the RSI actually, let's look at some moving average convergence. So basically what you want to do with this tool is you want to look for um, these type of moves here. So what we saw was a big green move, right? Was here. Then we saw red. And then when the next green is a lot smaller than this green, but you have a similar price, it's sort of like RSI. It's a bearish divergence. And then you even have a smaller green here. And then what you want to see for a bullish, for a buy is basically like what you saw here. Because what we saw here was we saw a big red, a green, and then a smaller red than this red, but a lower low. And so that's when you know when to buy, basically. It's actually pretty simple. I don't think enough people even talk about these things anymore. Most people are just trying to be macro analysts and stuff like that. But this is pretty simple. You can also look at it on the daily time frame. Again, look at how small these reds have gotten, right? So you have a green, you have a red, you have a smaller green. So it's just getting tighter and tighter, basically. You have smaller greens and smaller reds. I've honestly almost never seen anything like it. I mean, but it does look bullish to me. And it's put in the final hammer, in my opinion. Um, when we look at gold, again, I've done this before. I'll do it again. I'll just put on a weekly time frame. Um, I know I've covered gold on this channel a lot as well, but um, but right now I'm back fully into crypto. And I'm considering selling some Bitcoin today for the first time in a while because it's up so much, right? But people are still not satisfied with that. Um, and so, I'm not really sure why that's the case. Why are people so unsatisfied with this market? It's done really well. And sometimes you know, you have to be patient. You have to take profits. I have to do the right things. But to me, it's a cup and handle. Um, you know, you can actually see exactly where we're at right there, pretty much. So it's like a triple top, right? So a lot of the gold people said, hey, bam, double top. And then they said there's no such thing as a triple top. And they were right. And it's the same with Ethereum. And then we had a really sharp bull flag pullback, really sharp. And then it's the same with Ethereum. We had a massive hammer candle. And then it went up, right? So 10K, maybe something like that. But like, let's take a look at it just on the chart here. You can see how volatile it got here. And then it really started to pump. ETH is not exactly doing that. It's very much chopping in this range still. Um, but, what we can say um, is that basically, it's a volatile market right now. It's hard to, um, it's hard to say what will happen next. But hey, when we look on the weekly, we're at least getting a bigger green here than here. So that's good. Um, but let's look at it on the daily with Bitcoin here. It's a smaller green here than here. Even here, look at all these greens here. I mean, very small, but this one's been big. Um, so it's hard to say. It's hard to say what to do. But, for now, if you don't have a massive position, it's definitely something you just hodl. And if it's, again, if we break the 4-year cycle by having a massive bear market in the middle of a bull market, it wouldn't really be the first time that that has happened. Um, but again, this is just reminding me of these sort of, I know it sucks to hear, but these sort of toppy signals here, right? I mean, we had a huge rally, right? And then we came up and made a flag, right? So big rally, came up, made a flag. Then we have another rally here, sell off, slightly higher high, and then we sort of just had these slightly higher highs until we had basically a bear market, right? And then we made a higher high again, and that was definitely the top. So um, basically, if we look at the RSI again, and let's look at some ribbons actually, see what those are looking like. I mean, they're pretty wide at this point. Are they as wide on the weekly as they were back then? Probably not, because we're just crossing bullish. Um, and Bitcoin is like something that, it's just, yeah, we're not really close in terms of that metric for me. This was such an obvious accumulation, especially when this broke, right? I mean, that's pretty much when I bought. It was like it broke all the moving averages, and the moving averages were as skinny as essentially they've ever been. I mean, you can't even really draw it. They were all sort of the same level. And that's where we caught support. It was kind of obvious. And then that's when like Larry Fink came on TV. Um, one of the issues, I guess you could say, for the 2017 bull run, we had all these pumps with the RSI, and it didn't really, wasn't like a normal sort of market. Um, and with this, it's like, are we sort of having these, you know, lower highs in the RSI? And this was so obvious because look how much lower this was when this went higher, right? And that's is that what we're experiencing now? Um, this was a strong impulsive move here, and now we're getting a slightly higher high. Another thing that we got, we can look at a monthly time frame. On the monthly, we still haven't come up to the levels that we have expected, so that's probably good. But we had a reversal candle that came in on the monthly, and that's pretty rare to see multiple reversals come in. This one worked, and some people could say like, "Hey, this flag that we made over back here was actually, like this flag, sort of, right?" And I can buy that argument. It's not totally dissimilar, and it would make sense actually with the price. You know, we had the reversal, but the only issue is this reversal because you don't get those really. I mean, you do though in 2017 you did. So you could say it's okay, it's similar to 2017 where we're getting these reversal candles. But the other thing is we got a candlestick reversal as well. That's pretty rare to get that. Obviously, we see that we got it for both of these tops. Now we got a reversal and a candlestick, which has essentially never happened for Bitcoin. So, that isn't the most comforting thing either. Um, so it's something to think about, something to think about. We can look at the futures. We had some reversals as well here on the futures ETF. On Bitcoin dominance, we still like haven't, this is we made a high in November and we still on the monthly have not broken that. It looks like it wants to break out though, which again could mean that we're getting the strategic Bitcoin reserve potentially. So, but if we look at the Hedgeye trend tracker, we are getting a lower high um, in Bitcoin. So, like in terms of it, I think yesterday it was like 108, and today it's 106, and ETH is bearish. So you do want to be taking, I mean, in a trade, you would want to be taking some profits, not financial advice. None of this is financial advice. Um, but if we could be logical. So hopefully you guys got something out of the video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.